First day of the Players Era tournament. This one is a 4:30 p.m. tip. We get St. John's versus Iowa State. It's two teams that have typically hung their hat on their defense. However, both are scoring the ball at a very high level to start the year. I truly think St. John's has potential to be a top five offense all year. As crazy as that might sound, I was talking with Subi doing a recap of their game against, why am I blanking on who did they play last night? They blew someone out. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Bucknell. They blew out Bucknell, and Subi and I were doing the recap, and Subi was like, "This might be the best offense in the country." I'm not ready to go that far, but they have such a deep front court and these guards who can just heat up and go crazy that it makes for some offensive fireworks. And on the other side, I think Iowa State, the question marks for them going into the year, how are they going to replace Curtis Jones and Keyshawn Gilbert? Tamin Lipsey has stepped up and then some. I mean, this dude has been doing it with his passing. He's been scoring at an extremely high and efficient clip. I mean, he's shooting about at his career average from beyond the arc, but he's just been so good inside the arc, shooting 70% from two, getting to the free throw line enough. Would like to see that number go up a little bit if I'm being honest, but still just running the show. And you're getting good production out of Joshua Jefferson as well. Blake Buchanan seems like he's not struggling at all, moving to a better team out of that Virginia system. And this is just going to be what kind of feels like a heavyweight battle that maybe the casual fan who hasn't tapped into Iowa State yet doesn't realize. But they've been doing what they do. They've been beating up on the low major teams, but they also had a really impressive 16-point win against Mississippi State, where Lipsey was far and away the best player on the court. And again, this is an opportunity. We've said this with some of these other players era games. It's an opportunity for a program like this to really show the casual college basketball fan that they belong, that TJ Otzelberger has not lost a step, that this team is not taking a backseat to anyone in the Big 12 this year, and we'll be right in the mix yet again.
Yeah, I mean, I think is it Otzelberg or Otzelberger? Otzelberger.
Otzelberger.
Excuse me. Otzelberger is in the perfect spot, like at Iowa State, right? Like this is where he's supposed to be. This is how he's going to make like the most out of his career and get the most out of like teams. I don't think Otzelberger is like a blue blood high if he went to North Carolina, Kansas, Kentucky, Indiana, like that's not for him.
Hmm.
But at Iowa State, I think you mentioned it, the question marks around replacing Curtis Jones and some of the other guys that they lost last year. Um, no question with Otzelberger. Like at an Iowa State, he'll be able to do this
Hmm.
every single year, I believe, and we just have to accept it at this point. And he's able to retain people at a high level too, right? Like if you go down this roster, you got Tamin Lipsey back, you got Joshua Jefferson back. I don't know how to say his name, Milan Momcilovic. Uh,
Momcilovic, great. Once again, great pronunciation. This is
thank
a
you.
legacy performance.
And my dog Theo got a plant for you. Um, and you got and he's able to retain them. He's not just able to get them. And I think at an Iowa State, that makes like that's the biggest thing. I think you have a tale of two teams here. I think you have a St. John's who's still trying to figure out who they are. You go down this list. Ian Jackson's only playing 46% of minutes. St. John's playing, I believe, even less than that. Um, there's still some like identity, I don't want to say issues, but identity question marks
Hmm.
for a team that brought in a lot of transfers and kind of rebuilt a roster. And then there's none of that with Iowa State. So going into this game, like I like Iowa State because it's continuity versus
Hmm.
questions. And now the answers to St. John's questions could be special. I know you mentioned like Subi saying they could have the best offense in the country. I don't disagree with that. It's only November 21st. It's in Vegas. It's the players there. It's $4 million. I don't know that this is where we get those questions answered.
Hmm. That is honestly a great point when you look at just the structures of this team and where one has a clear-cut identity year in, year out with Iowa State. They're going to dominate the glass. They're going to have a group of bigs who are just physical and guard. They're going to force a ton of turnovers, which they're doing at a rate better than anyone in the country right now. And they're going to have guards who can just go off. I mean, I love what you said about Lipsy, where it's like, of course, It just feels like this is on me. I got to go hand up for even doubting odds for replacing those guards. I because it's he just has such a good track record at this point of like it's the next man up and the guards that he finds and coaxes that performance out of them like they're best the best versions of them and you're seeing that with Lipsy right now where I know he had dazzled a little bit as a sophomore, dealt with some injuries and sort of fell out of maybe the favor or even the limelight I would just say of like the national media, but yeah, he is like putting on and carrying a ton of the offensive load for them right now. And meanwhile, with St. John's, they're playing really well offensively against mid-major comp. You know, they're doing what they're supposed to do and just dismantling these teams. But this is like the only test that we have to go off of against high major competition was that loss to Alabama, where their defense looked all out of sorts.
Yeah.
And granted, I don't think Iowa State has the weapons that Bama did. Their defense is substantially better, and I think you know, St. John's put 96 points on the scoreboard in that game and still lost. I don't think they're going to score that much against Iowa State. And if their defense isn't up to snuff, if there's still those miscommunications, well, Taman Lipsey can still dissect you. If you look at Joshua Jefferson, he's one of the best front court passers in the country. That dude is automatic on the short roll. You can run offense through him at the top of the key. And he's just really, really physical. Like, well, I think the strength of it's crazy to say with the high power backcourt, like the strength of St. John's, in my opinion, is the front court where you can look at Zuby, who can give you 20 and 10 any given night. Ruben Prey, who's coming into his own as this defensive chaos agent who can also step out and hit a three. Dylan Mitchell, who just stuffs the stat sheet with points and rebounds, gives you a ton of blocks and steals. But I think this Iowa State front court is like physical enough, old enough, strong enough, all of that to weather the storm there. And maybe, you get like Taman Lipsey just proves himself as the best guard on the court, and it's enough to win this game.
I think I agree with that. I just think the continuity as a whole is going to be
Mm-hmm.
so much higher, right? Like I don't want to say it's going to be easy for them to win this game because no game is easy to win, right? But like I think it's one of those situations where like you're just such a more well-oiled machine than St. John's is right now. Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe we play this game 3 months from now, having a completely different story, probably. But like
Yep.
right now, like I could nitpick St. John's. It's hard to nitpick Iowa State right now.
It's a good
Um,
point. Yeah.
and
As
if
we're
you give Otzelberger like a little bit, he's gonna take a mile.
mhm. As we're hashing it out right now, I think I'm ready to say my prediction is Iowa State wins this game. I think the guards, it's not just Lipsy too. They got this freshman named Killian Torre who basically plays like freshman Taman Lipsy. Don't be fooled by the fact that he's a Frenchman whose name is Killian. He's not
Not Killian Hayes, we
not
promise.
Killian Hayes, but
Although,
he's
like the way eligibility's going right now, who would stop Killian Hayes from playing college
it's a
basketball?
good point. It's a good point. But I buy the steadiness of this backcourt. I buy the front court's physicality. I think they can make the St. John guards really uncomfortable with their ability to force turnovers. And I think Iowa State wins this one probably 77-70, somewhere in that realm. Where are you at with it?
Um, I like I like Iowa State to shut down St. John's offense. I think Iowa State wins this game. I think you're right on the money, 77-70. I'll go a little differently just to be different. I've 74-69. Hashtag nice. I think they win like a very, very close one. That really just comes down to defense at the end of the game and an offense that can execute because they know each other and an offense that can't execute because they don't really know each other yet.
Mhm.